Origins: late 19th to early 20th century. The roots of the conflict began in the late 19th century when both Jews and Arabs in the region of Palestine began developing strong nationalist movements. Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, and Jews were a small minority in the land, while Arabs made up the majority. The idea of establishing a Jewish homeland became prominent in the Jewish community, especially among European Jews facing anti-Semitism. This movement, known as Zionism, advocated for the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. World War I and British Mandate, 1917 to 1948. During World War I, the British, seeking support from Jews and Arabs against the Ottoman Empire, made conflicting promises to both communities. The Balfour Declaration of 1917 stated British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. However, the British had also promised Arab independence. After the war, Palestine came under British control as part of the British Mandate. During the British Mandate period, Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, particularly due to rising anti-Semitism in Europe. Tensions between the Jewish and Arab populations escalated, leading to violent clashes as both groups laid claim to the land. The UN Partition Plan and the creation of Israel, 1947 to 1948. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab community rejected it. In May 1948, when the British Mandate ended, Jewish leaders declared the establishment of the State of Israel. This triggered the 1948 Arab-Israeli War as neighboring Arab countries invaded the newly formed state. Israel managed to repel the invading armies and even gained more territory than was originally allotted in the UN plan. For Palestinians, this event is known as the Nakba catastrophe, as hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs were displaced or fled their homes, many becoming refugees. Wars and occupations, 1956 to 1973. The conflict between Israel and its Arab neighbors continued. In 1956, Israel, alongside Britain and France, invaded Egypt during the Suez Crisis. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. Israel swiftly captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights. The Yom Kippur War of 1973 saw Egypt and Syria launch a surprise attack on Israel to reclaim lost territories. Although initially caught off guard, Israel managed to push back the invading forces. Peace efforts and continued conflict, 1979 to 2000s. The Camp David Accords in 1979, brokered by the United States, resulted in a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, the first between Israel and an Arab state. Israel returned the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt in exchange for recognition and peace. However, tensions with the Palestinians and other Arab nations continued. In 1987, the First Intifada uprising broke out in the West Bank and Gaza against Israeli occupation. The Oslo Accords in 1993, a peace process between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, led to the creation of the Palestinian Authority and a hope for a two-state solution. However, violence, continued settlements in the West Bank, and political instability on both sides hindered progress. The 21st century and current conflict in the 2000s, the Second Intifada erupted, leading to another wave of violence. In 2005, Israel withdrew from Gaza, but the militant group Hamas gained control of the territory, leading to frequent clashes between Israel and Gaza-based militants. Since then, multiple conflicts have erupted, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Ongoing issues include Israeli settlements in the West Bank, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Conclusion: the Israel-Palestine conflict is a deeply entrenched struggle over land, identity, and historical grievances. Despite numerous attempts at peace, including international interventions and agreements, the conflict continues with no clear resolution in sight. Both sides hold deeply rooted claims to the land, and the road to peace remains fraught with challenges.